When I look around at things, like in here, the trees, the sky, the water, the sun, I was always involved in, I guess it's called an environmental activism. So I asked my father, how do we call this in our language? Iigaang, sino aji atkir Káawan. And he looked around and he said, Aji Luan Kudatki Haganan. All these things, we're all related and we need each other. We need each other to survive. And the trees, that's your grandmothers. That's all my grandmothers. And the name for tree is Keet. But Keet is also the name for sea lion. I asked, how come they have the same name? That's because that's not what they are. He said no. He said when the wind is moving the trees, the branches move like this. And when you see sea lions on the ocean and they're laying on the surface, you see their flippers are moving like this. So you're not describing the animal or the tree, describing the movement. And our name for octopus tentacle is the same term we use for washing a window.
Oh, really?
Sort of wax on and wax off. But when we look at those things, like for example, if I'm hurting inside, my spirit hurts, I can go to any tree and say, grandmother, Nana, di ko na ngayon dalak. I am hurting inside, and she'll comfort me. If I'm feeling fear, I can go up to any tree and put my spine against the tree and say, grandmother, I'm afraid, and she'll embrace me. See, trees are the tallest of our relatives. They're the closest to the sun. So each one of them, when the sun shines down on them, they take that, we'll say, energy differently, each one. And so when you burn that wood, it releases that energy. Each tree does it a little bit different. For example, with a hemlock, it'll produce heat on the coldest day. The Douglas fir will also produce heat, but not as much as from the Sitka spruce, the western hemlock. And the Sitka spruce won't give us much heat, but it'll give steady heat that you can use for cooking. So we don't use the same wood for every ceremony. Each one has different power, different way of releasing energy, because everything is about energy and rhythm. And when I walk in the forest, first thing I do is I introduce myself to my relatives. Oh, Slao Agent, Káawan Sangáa, Inude Káawan. Hello, this place. In Haida, I'm called Káawan Sangáa, a man who walks in a room carrying a newborn child. And so anytime I go in a forest, that's how the land will know me, by that name. It said that's the name that not only does the land know me by, but that's the one where the wind will carry to the tops of the highest mountains. It'll carry it across the water. And that water down there, it's like we don't have a line that separates supernatural from natural. So if I'm trying to peer into the depths of the water and all I see is reflection, like right now coming off the water, that means I have to change my point of view. Otherwise, I'm just going to come to a conclusion that reflects what I think. All the things I believe, that regardless of the evidence to the contrary, I'll still keep believing. But as I begin to change my point of view, I get to the point where not only can I peer into the depths of the water, I become the water. And that's the same way with the spirit world. There's no line that separates, it's my ability to see it. And when you learn how to do that, that's called iigaang. The most difficult thing a human can do is to change your mind. So we look to all those things for how we're going to live our lives. But we also have to have a sense of humor. It's said that my life begins the first time I laugh at myself. Well, I've got plenty to laugh about. And I tell stories that if my wife ever catches me, don't tell her I said it. But she's going to put knuckle bumps on me, I think. I tell people my wife is going to get me a t-shirt that says, "Help! I'm talking and can't stop." I guess it's time to stop.